Hey guys, we're here today looking at percent problems. These are always a lot of fun. We've been working with fractions, decimals, and percents all week. So first of all, you always want to set up the problem and solve for the unknown. There's going to be something that you might not know. So that's what you're doing. You're going to solve for the unknown. Also, remember a percent is always a number compared to 100. That's important. You're always going to see that number over 100. It's being compared to that. It's telling you how many pieces are being counted out of that 100. Look at the next section. It says find 35% of 60. Now it gives the answer there, but I want you to think about how you would actually set this up. 35%. Remember, a percent is always a number compared to 100. So that's where you get the 35 over the 100. Of is always going to mean that you are multiplying. So it's like saying 35%, so 35 over 100 of 60. So you're multiplying by 60. 60 is a whole number, and it can be represented as 60 over 1. So that's what they did here. And then when they multiply, they ended up with 2,100 over 100. They did all of the work over here. You can see that. So that, when you mark off your zeros here, you're going to end up with 21 over 1. Now that's just the whole number 21. That's all that is. So 35% of 60 equals 21. That's how the problem is set up. Here's another one. It says find 42% of 400. So I'm looking at the important information. I'm looking at 42% and I'm looking at 400. Of means multiply. I know that percent means that it's 42 over 100. So here I've got 42 over 100 and I'm multiplying by 400 over 1 because 400 is my whole number. They did all of the work out here for us. I want you to look at that. They multiplied everything out and they got 16,800. Now, of course, that's over 100 because 100 here times 1 equals 100. Now, they marked out the two zeros on the top and the bottom to make everything easier. So when I look at that, I ended up with 168 over 1. So my answer to 42% of 400 equals 168. All right, next, we're going to be looking at, really it's a comparison problem, but I really want you to focus on finding the percent of the number. So we're looking at finding the percent, 32% of 80. So it's set up exactly like the problem before, 32 over 100. Because the percent means it's over 100, the of is multiply, and you're multiplying by 80 over 1 because the 80 is a whole number, and that's represented as 80 over 1. Okay, so what they did was they multiplied it out. Everything is here, all of the work for you. I'm really wanting you to see the process of how they're set up. That equals 2,560, and that's over 100 because you're multiplying 100 times the 1. Okay, so we ended up with 2,560 over 100. You marked through the zeros that were the same on the end, and we ended up with 256 divided by 10. So after you're done with your division, your decimal point only moves 1 point to the left. So we ended up with 25.6 for our answer. Okay, so that's important. I'm going to need that 25.6 in a minute because I'm comparing it to this other number. Now we're looking at 21% over here. That's what I have of 60. Now remember, the of means that we're going to be multiplying. 21 divided by 100 times 60 over 1. That's just setting the problem up. You're looking at a percentage of a certain number. Once you're done with your multiplying over here, you end up with 1,260 over 100 because 100 times 1 is 100. You can mark off those two end zeros, and again, you're left with 126 divided by 10. Since you're dividing by 10, your decimal point is going to move 1 point to the left, 1 spot to the left, okay? So that, now we're comparing 25.6 and 12.6, and so that's why the answer is greater than, because the 25.6 over here is greater than the 12.6 over here. Thank you, guys.